A strange feature of Portland's housing crisis is the sight of dozens of cranes dotting the skyline as they build more homes, while down on the ground there are tents in a street where those without homes live. It's an uncomfortable juxtaposition and begs the question, how is it possible that we are both in the middle of an economic boom and in the grips of a housing crisis that is leaving people to sleep on the street? The best way to understand our lack of affordable housing is to think of it as a conspiracy. If you were an evil policy genius that wanted to make sure there wasn't enough affordable housing, you couldn't do better than the perfect storm of conditions that have created what we have today. Here's what everyone already knows. Portland has undergone a major growth spurt in the last decade with tens of thousands of people flocking here, and building has simply not kept pace. When increasing demand meets lagging supply, prices go up as more money chases fewer options. At the same time, incomes have remained flat in Portland and nationwide, while rents here have skyrocketed in the past 10 years. If you have the same job you did 10 years ago, you probably can't afford the same place. But the table was set before that. The federal government has been disinvesting from public housing developments and rental assistance for decades. That assistance works, and it's crucial. For people who can't afford the rent, it offers vouchers to cover the gap. That keeps people in their homes, but federal dollars have disappeared, leaving states and cities on their own to solve the problem. So back to the cranes above and tents below. What exactly is the connection? The Portland area is short about 48,000 units of affordable housing. These are homes for people making less than half of the area's median family income, or MFI. In Portland, that means a 4-person household making less than about $41,000. Of those 48,000 units of affordable housing that Portland is missing, about 3/4 of those are for people earning 0 to 30% MFI, or less than about $25,000 a year. So knowing that, why don't we just build more? All this pressure on the market, higher prices, more people, higher rents, means that people with a lot of money look down market if they don't find a place. So someone with $500,000 to spend on a house that can't find anything in their range finds a house going for $450,000 and pays what they have to spend, so now it's a $500,000 house. And rents do more or less the same thing. This continues downstream until you get to the bottom of the market, and at some point the cheapest houses have now become not so cheap. The lowest rents have gone up beyond the point that people with very low incomes can pay for it. There's a hole in the bottom of the market. That hole is what affordable housing developers work to fill, but it's harder than ever. Nonprofit developers use a combination of grants, tax breaks, and subsidies to pay to build affordable housing, but they still have to borrow money from a bank to finance most of it. That means they have a mortgage like everyone else, and they pay it back with the rent they charge tenants. But what happens in such a hot market is that the cost to build housing gets so high that nonprofit developers are forced to build for the top of their market just to break even. And they charge rents that only people who make 40, 50, or 60% of MFI can pay. This means that the very poorest Portlanders in that 0 to 30% MFI range miss out. It means that even affordable housing isn't affordable enough. It means that when the bottom falls out, the only place left is the street. And that's how you get from cranes in the sky to tents on the ground.